going? Yes, it's going. So, hi! We're recording. So, for everyone watching, I'm Andrew, and from Andrew's Angel Readings, and I am here today with Vicky Maxwell from New Age Hipster. So, hi!
Hi!
So thank you so much for doing this. And so I was
Yes,
kind
so
of wanted to
welcome.
interview you because I love your energy, and I kind of wanted to, you know, just talk to you some. So, I guess my first question is we've all had like different avenues of finding the angels or the angels finding us. So when did you start working with angels, and how did your interest get like piqued in the topic?
Okay, it's kind of weird, like I can't really remember, but I think that's kind of cool in a way. I've been into like tarot and crystals and all that kind of stuff for ages and ages. And I kind of like heard about angels, and some people were like, yeah, I'm working with angels, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm just gonna stick to my crystals and my tarot. Angels is like that thing that's kind of like, it's over there, you know, it wasn't really in my kind of my sphere. And I was shopping online for some crystals, and I don't know why I did it, but I just was like, oh, I'll just get a deck of angel cards while I'm here. Just kind of clicked on purchase, and they arrived, and I started working with them and started working with the angels, and the rest is really like history. But yeah, it's weird. Like I don't remember actually making a conscious decision to kind of go, yeah, I'm gonna start working with angels. It just kind of like just happened.
Yeah, they found me through angel numbers. And
Mm-hmm.
then naturally, angel numbers led me to Doreen Virtue, and then it just kind of blew
Yep.
up from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know I work with Archangel Hani a lot because I love Hani. I don't know, she just has a really great energy. I think she's really good at like helping me kind of develop that psychic sense, and I just love her. So what angel do you work with most often? Who's your I don't want to say favorite because I know, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you mean. We don't have favorites. They're all my favorite.
Yeah.
I have to say, first of all, it's really interesting that you said Archangel Haniel, because she's been coming up for me, and like in Woo Woo School, which is like a class that I do, loads of people were like getting into Archangel Haniel, and I did a meditation with her like just the other day, and she kind of, I don't know what she looks like to you, but she appeared to me like Olivia Newton-John.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just like, this is so cool. Yeah, but anyway, that doesn't answer the question. My main kind of guy is Archangel Michael. I think because he was like the first archangel that I started working with for like, you know, my protection and all of that kind of stuff. And he's just kind of stuck around in a big way. So I call on him every day. Like I feel like he's always with me, and yeah, I love his energy. I just love it.
Yeah, I had a really cool experience with Archangel Michael. I was doing a meditation, and he came through, and him and Metatron were there, and it was kind of they were so funny together. Like Archangel Michael, like I didn't picture him to be funny, but the way he came across to me, he was super funny, and Metatron would kind of seem like that older brother type who was just like, oh God, here we go. They were
Yeah.
super fun.
Yeah, I love that, because I didn't expect angels to be funny either. Like
Yeah, I was
kind
like,
of, yeah, I wasn't expecting them to be. I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, it's weird how they have like those personalities.
yeah, I guess I just never really expected them to really do a lot of, things other than helping. I didn't really expect them to have like full on conversations and like make jokes and stuff. So I was like, okay, I mean, that's awesome. It
It's
kind of
cool,
helps,
yeah.
yeah, it helps you not be so, I guess, oh, am I bothering them or whatever? Because they're funny. So that was awesome for me. So I know like when I'm tuning in, I guess when I have a specific meditation that I developed with Archangel Haniel. And by the way, I see her as looking like Christina Aguilera.
I
So
love they're both pop stars though. That's really
yeah,
cool.
so because there's a card in the daily no the Archangel Oracle cards with her on it, I think, and she looks just like Christina Aguilera to me, and I was just like, that's just how I see. That's just how I see her. So I have a specific meditation with her, Gabriel, and Michael when I'm really tuning in. So what it kind of like, what's your Like, what's your process of tuning in and connecting with the angels?
I think for me, it's kind of different all the time, depending on like, what I'm doing. If I'm doing a reading for someone, like an angel reading, then I'll do like a big like song and dance of like, lighting candles and meditating and getting all the like selenite and everything out. But sometimes I find like sometimes I find that I get like the best messages for myself when I don't tune in. Actually, when I kind of I'm just going about my day, and then I just get like those little kind of downloads and stuff, which is kind of interesting. But I do like call them in every morning. I sit on my yoga mat, do a bit of yoga, and then I just sit and kind of call in the angels and see who's around and what kind of energy I feel like I need on that day. And I kind of just really simply just say like, thanks for being with me today.
Yeah,
it's kind of about about it, really.
Yeah, I've figured out that like the simpler, the better in some cases. Like when I'm doing a reading, that's when I really get into the meditation and I'm really like in the zone. But if I'm not, then I'll just like shuffle the cards and be like, okay, angels, like which one's coming out? What do you want me to know today? And I get really profound messages sometimes just by doing that. And so I really I know what you're saying. It's different depending on what you're doing and who you're with and what you're wanting information on. So I know a lot of us, we've had a lot of really like powerful experiences, deep experiences, sometimes crazy experiences when we're dealing with gods, goddesses, angels, spirit in general. What is one of the most powerful experiences you've had with either of those things?
I think you've had like loads of like little different things, but I think one that kind of stands out is the first time I met Archangel Raphael, and it was kind of, I'd been working with angels for a while, but when you like, I don't know if you can relate, but when I first got my deck, I was like, wow, working with angels is really cool, but I wasn't like really like that connected, if you know what I mean. Like I was kind of just starting to like tune into the energy and the angelic kind of energy and everything. But I was really sick. I'm like the worst sick person. Like I'm just, if I've got a cough, I'm like, this is it, this is the end. But anyway, I was like in bed, and I had like a really, really bad cold, and I was just like feeling so miserable and so sorry for myself. And I remember lying there, and I was just like, Archangel Raphael, can you help me? Like just heal me, come and heal me. And I just felt this amazing, like this, like the air just kind of went like right across my face, and I was like, oh my God, he's really here. And then I kind of like had this dialogue with him, and I'm like, can you just heal me, just take away this cold? And he was like laughing at me. I was like, why? Like I'm really sick. And he's like, you've just got a head cold, babe. Like you're a human being. Like this happens. And we just kind of had this like this dialogue of just him explaining to me like why I'd gotten a cold, like I'd been running myself into the ground, like all this kind of stuff. And he's like, I'm not just going to take it away from you, because there's a lesson here for you, and you need to just kind of like slow down and all of this kind of stuff. But it was kind of the first time that I'd had that kind of like real conversation with the angelic energy, and it was just super powerful. And he was so funny as well.
Yeah, Archangel Raphael is one that I'm still not trying to connect with, but one I'm trying to work with a little bit more, because I have my main three that I focus on, and so I'm kind of working on bringing him kind of into it, and maybe, I don't want to say alternating angels, but kind of like working with him more and more and more outside of what I'm used to. So I like him. He's been pretty cool so far. But yeah, when I first started working with angels, I had the Archangel Power tarot deck, and that's what really, because I had been interested in tarot for a really long time. Oh, my cat! Stop! She was scratching the chair. I had been interested in tarot for a long time, and my mom scared me and was like, "Oh, that's bad. You can't do that." And so I threw my decks away, and I was like, then after I found Doreen Virtue, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this deck, and I loved it, and it was just like, it felt like I was coming home, like that was where I needed to be, and then it just kind of opened the door for the angels. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's cool when
Yeah.
you first start.
Yeah.
So I know I currently run my angel business part time, and so I think that's what a lot of us are doing to kind of get ourselves into that full time because I would love to do it full time. And you currently do run your business full time, and that's awesome. And like that's my I'm trying to get there. What suggestions or tips do you have for those of us who are wanting to kind of take that leap or who are getting ready to take that leap?
I think, yeah, I think it's really powerful to just kind of like be where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I've only been doing it full time for about 6 months or so, a little bit longer than 8 months, which isn't really that long, but it's really hard. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard. Like some months you have like a really good month and you're like, wow, I can do this and I can get paid for it, and then you'll have, a couple of weeks and it'll be like,
Yep.
am I gonna be okay this month? There's a lot of like, if you're not prepared, if you're not totally ready, you can really get into like, a lot of fear and anxiety, which, your
Definitely.
clients are going to pick up on that. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's all,
Definitely.
that's it. Um, but yeah, like it's really hard work. But I think if you can do it part time and you can get clients and you can do it part time when you've got a full time job, then that's incredible. And that means that you're dedicated and you're going to be able to make it work. If you can make it work when you've got another job, then you're going to be able to make it work doing it full time. It just might take a little time to get there.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy. Sometimes having to balance everything and then still have time to have a personal life too.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's so rewarding though. It's when you give someone a reading and they're like, this helped me so much. And it's just like that's why I do this. Like yes, it's crazy and I had to rush home from work and get ready,
Mhm.
but it's amazing. It's amazing work. I really yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So reading for others is something that I know a lot of us have had anxieties about. So when I first started, I was doing readings for like on Facebook for my friends and my family, and I felt like I was doing the certified angel card reader course, which I know you've done too,
Yeah.
and I didn't feel comfortable reading for people until I had that certificate, like reading for strangers, because it was just something in my mind. Um,
Hmm.
and so I felt like that kind of gave me that push that I needed, so people would think I was official. So that was kind of my big hurdle because I wanted people to, I didn't want to steer people wrong. I didn't want people to be like, oh, that's totally
Hmm.
wrong. So what were your hurdles when you were trying to get into that kind of like putting yourself out there and reading for other people?
Yeah, I think that's really, really important what you said, because it is a job like where people come to you because they really need help and they
Mm-hmm.
really need answers, and it's like if you give them answers that aren't great, or if you like send them on the wrong road. Obviously everyone always has their own choices and they can make their own choices based on what information you give them, but yeah, it's a really big responsibility. I think one of the things, same as you, one of the things that I really struggled with was confidence, because I've been reading tarot and angel cards for friends for like 10 years
Mm-hmm.
before I, started reading for other people. But a lot of the time, your friends are going to say that you're amazing, whether was it really amazing or was it just like amazing. So what I did was I read for 100 people, just like total strangers. I just went on to like spiritual groups on Facebook and I was like, hey, I'm practicing tarot. I want to be like a professional reader. If anyone wants a free reading, just send me a message. And it took me months and months and months to do that. But it
Yeah,
was like you said with your certificate, it was like I needed to do that to kind of like train myself
definitely.
as kind of like my apprenticeship, because you don't get one in this
No,
business.
not at all.
Yeah, but I had to do that to know that I was good and to know that it was going to actually help people. So yeah, that's what I did. 100 free readings.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that because I know every time I post like I'm doing free readings, my inbox explodes,
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah,
4,000 people. that are wanting readings. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, that's awesome. Like to do that and to kind of build that confidence, because that's what I was having to do with my friends and my family, and then I was doing some here and there on Facebook, and then I started out doing like um, readings for donations to charities. Like I had a list of charities, and I was like, just like email me your receipt and I'll give you a reading. So that way, they didn't feel like they were giving me their money. But then the more people were like, "You're really good. This is amazing." And I actually had one lady. She went back and made separate donations for each point of accuracy in the reading, and I was like, "That's
Amazing.
awesome." And
Yeah.
so then I was like, "Okay, so now I think I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to start charging." And that was a big thing too. Charging just was a whole different
Yeah,
was
that's
and
a
is a whole different animal for me.
that yeah, I totally relate to that because it's like the whole reason you get into this work is because you want to help people, and then it's like you want to help people, but then you start to realize you can't just keep giving and giving and giving without receiving
Exactly, because there
something
has
in
to be that
return.
exchange. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where a lot of us I think get hung up too.
Hmm.
We have to know that it's okay to ask for money. It's okay. There needs to be an exchange of energy. It's not a bad thing to want to help yourself. So I know I've created a couple spreads. I've created like I think 3 or 4 spreads, and I know you've created tons of spreads. So what's your process for creating spreads?
Do you know what? Like it's kind of different every time, but a lot of the time when I'm creating one, I've got like something on my mind, like something that I need a spread for. Um, there's a spread that I created that's like the bummed out spread. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically like it's really silly. It's like in the shape of a butt, and it's just like and I used like Bruce Springsteen's butt on the background, but I was kind of going through this kind of energy of like I just feel a bit down and I don't know why. So I created a spread for it, and it's kind of like where you were before, like what brought you down, like what can potentially like bring you back up, and those kind of questions. But it was like I just needed those answers. So it's like, okay, what do I need right now? Okay, I need what are some of my other spreads? Oh, I've got like the full moon releasing. It's like, okay, I really want to release some stuff this full moon. What do I need to release, and what are some good ways I know of like working out my stuff that I need to release? And then I just kind of play around with it. But I think the best thing you can do when you're creating spreads is just like download them. Like just kind of ask for, okay, where should this card go? What question should I ask for this card? And kind of do it like, make it part of the intuitive process, like the actual creation of the spread.
Yeah, definitely. 'Cause I mean, I love like all of your spreads. I love the new moon spread.
Yeah.
That was a great one. Yeah, I think that was the first spread by you I've ever done, and it was so like accurate, and it just blew my mind. So I know we both probably have a lot of decks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a problem. People are like, you have a lot of decks. I'm like,
Much.
it could always be worse. It could be something, it could be drugs. It's decks. I'm good.
I love that. Yeah,
like
next
it's
time
okay.
something gives me a hard time, it could be drugs.
Right. So I know my most used deck is going to be the Archangel Power deck because it's my trusty Rusty. Oh, there's my cat. So that's my most used one, just because it's like I said, it's my trusty Rusty. So what's the deck what's your go-to deck when you can't decide which one to use?
Do you know what? When I can't decide which one to use, I just kind of just grab whichever one's closest. But I really love the daily guidance from your angels. That was my first deck.
Okay.
And it's been so used. Like the edges are all like, how they're like gold at first, and now they're starting to all wear away and everything. It's like it's definitely my most used. I usually keep it just kind of like by my bed, and just like pull a card in the morning, pull one at night. It's kind of always around. But there's so many, amazing decks. I love like the Angel Tarot. I think that's amazing. Like kind of what you were saying about the tarot and everything before, because I love like the traditional tarot, but I really find that the angel tarot is like this totally different energy, and it's really, you get like really similar accuracy and everything, but it's just like this totally different vibe, and I love that.
Yeah, especially for people who who may be coming to you who are weary of tarot in the first place.
Yep.
And you're like, well, you don't have to worry. I have angel cards, so that way you don't have to, say, oh, well, here's the death card, and here's the 10 of swords with this guy with 10 swords in his back. It's like unicorns, and who doesn't like unicorns? So
exactly.
so that's what I've noticed. It's I can have one reading with tarot, one reading with the angel tarot, or the Archangel Power tarot, because I have angel tarot was my second deck. So those are my two that I started with. So it's crazy to see just how similar they are and just how accurate they both are, but the energy is totally different.
Yeah.
Like sometimes tarot can kind of punch you in the face a little bit.
I was gonna say kick you in the butt, but yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. But then angel tarot is just kind of that. Okay, honey, you've got to do this. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's totally different vibe, but it's still crazy accurate. So my last question is, not everybody is, when you say angels, a lot of people kind of are like, oh, kind of, because a lot of people have had those experiences in the church or whatever that they've come from, and they're kind of weary about angels. I know I've ran into that a lot too. People are like, I don't know if I want to do this or not, or they're kind of critical about it. So what is what advice do you have for those who haven't worked with angels, but who are starting to get interested in working with angels?
I think, it's so sad that this is, that this has happened, because working with angels has like literally changed my life.
Yes.
And I mean, probably with you too, like when you start working with them and then you start, connecting with them, you start hearing your guidance and all of this kind of stuff. It's so powerful, and it's so high vibe. Like,
yes.
It's just, sometimes when I've worked with just the traditional tarot, like sometimes, you do pull a card and you're just like, oh God, like, okay, what's this about? Like, what's going on? Like, why have I got the 10 of swords in my future? Like, what, really? Like, what's going to happen? But yeah, working with angels is like, it's never like that. I think for people who are thinking, oh, okay, this is something I'm kind of interested in, probably what I would suggest is to either get a deck, or even just to sit there and say, like, hey, angels, like, if you want to work with me, I'm kind of open to it. Like, give me some signs that you're with me, or grab a deck, like a Doreen Virtue deck. Like, there's nothing scary in those.
No, not at all.
Or otherwise, like, even grab a reading from somebody else and just see if it works for you. Like, see if you like it. I mean, I don't know how much you charge for a reading, but just for half an hour reading with me or with you or with anybody, it's not a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
If you're curious, it's probably a good way to kind of test the waters.
Yeah, definitely, because that way it's like, it's not you working with the angels, it's somebody else giving you messages from the angels. And then I know a lot of times, even though I work with angels, there are some times where I'm so close to the situation that I'm like, I don't know if these are the angels or if this is what I'm wanting to hear. And so it's always good to always kind of get that second opinion, like a doctor, like, okay, what's going on, and then have somebody else kind of check in with you. So one more question. I just want to ask you, what you're working on right now. What's kind of going on in the world of New Age Hipster?
Oh my God, like so much. I'm actually in the process of like moving house in the next couple of weeks. So there's
awesome.
a few things. Yeah, there's a few things that are kind of like bubbling away under the surface. But one thing I am kind of working on, it's not directly related to angels, but kind of is I really want to create like a tarot course, but I want to do it in a way where it's not the scary thing. It's not that kind of like, here's the definitions of the cards, like off you go, kind of a more like intuitive reading of tarot where you can connect with your angels to read the tarot, and you can connect with your guides and all of that kind of stuff. So that's in like the brainstorming stages at the moment. So probably still be a little while before that comes out. But that's kind of
That's
that's
awesome.
what I'm working
Yeah,
on.
I think that would be really good because I know I've taken a lot of like courses and all that kind of stuff, and it's the courses that I've taken besides the Certified Angel Card Reader course. Um, they've been kind of anchored in tarot, and they haven't been like this is the meaning of this card, but they kind of have. You know what I mean? They're not, but they are. It's kind of like go with your gut, but this is, what it is or whatever. So I think that would be really good, kind of having people access their intuition with the card, and because the imagery on the card sometimes tells me more than what the actual card meaning does. So I'm sitting there like, okay, well I know it means this, but I'm drawn to this dog. So, but yeah, so this has been super fun.
Yeah, thanks so much
And
for
thank you
having me.
thank you for doing
It's
it.
really cool.
So I'm going to stop the screen sharing right now, and then we can have a little chat after that. So everybody, this has been Vicky from New Age Hipster, and I'm Andrew for Andrew's Angel Readings. You can find us both on Facebook. I assume you're New Age Hipster on Facebook, right?
New Age Hipster 333.
New Age Hipster 333, and I am Andrew's Angel Cards if you're looking for the actual, link. So check us both out, and angel blessings, everybody. Bye.